Right. So in this video, we'll take a look at Corona PROXY. So basically, Corona it's a rendering software. It's a rendering software for 3ds Max. So in the scene, we have a dragon model, which is a very heavy model because it is created by 2 million polygons, and rendering a few of these may be easy. But what if I want to render 200 of these dragons in the scene? That will be about 5 million polygons. So it is a heavy scene. It's going to be problematic as it is going to need tons of resources and memories on your machine, and it's going to like your viewport navigation is going to be very slow for it as well. So the way Corona PROXY works is it imports geometry from the external mesh of your disk at render time only. The geometry is not present in the 3ds Max scenes and does not take up too much RAM. So you can add the Corona proxy or C proxy right from the toolbar or from the command panel. Create geometry Corona. I'm gonna select C proxy and drag it into the viewport to create it. In the modify panel, we need to define the geometry that we want to turn into a proxy using this pick from scene. We can select the geometry to turn it into a proxy. So let's pick the dragon model, and I'm gonna save it at downloads, and I'll name it as dragon proxy. You could name whatever you want. And now I'll click save. When you press save, Corona starts to create the proxy and save it into a geometry as a .cgeo file and loads it into the scene like here. In the Corona proxy itself, you can actually use load from the file. If I hide the main dragon model and run the interactive render, you notice that the Corona proxy is replacing the Corona in the rendering. The material looks exactly the same in the model itself. If I stop the rendering and get back to Corona proxy, right now the proxy represents by a simple boundary box. In the viewport displays section, you can change the displays method into a wire bounding box, a solid bounding box, points cloud representation. And in this mode, we can increase the point cloud percentage to get a more accurate representation for it. Let's try 10, 20, 50%. Now I'll set it around 25% for now. Or we can set the displays method into full mesh if we wanted to, but which kind of defeat the purpose of having a proxy, but it can be useful in certain situations, I guess. For now, let's change the displays method into point cloud. Right now, we can go ahead and create as many copy of this Corona proxy as we want without choking the resources or from our machine. Imagine if you want to create 1,000 trees in the scene, it can be done with Corona proxy. I'm gonna select the proxy and just rotate it a bit. And go to the perspective view. And shift and drag the proxy. Click shift and drag the proxy. And set the clone mode into instance. And set the number of copies of something like 4. Now select all the proxy. Now select all the proxy and move them closer to the back point. Now shift and drag all these 5 proxy to the left side. And create like 4 instance for each. Now we can start the interactive render. The million proxy. Without any issues, we can render like smoothly. So that's about Corona proxy.